Okay. So I think I am live. Hi guys, I'm Kai Ashley. In case you're new here and you don't know me, I'm a renowned healer of the subconscious, of the mind-body connection. So I'm really amazing at healing physical, chronic pain, illness, anxiety, all sorts of things in the way of your success. I'm very success focused. So everything we do always has your goal in mind of the vision of your life that you want to create. I hope you take steps forward to create that life. And in the process, we heal everything in the way. So I actually started noticing years ago that as I was helping my business clients heal, their physical illnesses were healing at the same time. Now, this is pretty amazing, but it makes sense. So I myself have healed from a chronic lung disease that almost killed me, and I did it naturally. And before that, I healed from chronic fatigue that had really taken me out, and the doctors literally told me that I would be sick forever. And hi, thanks for being here. It's so nice to see you here. So the doctors told me I'd be sick forever. That was literally what they told me many years ago. And guess what? When she handed me the prescription after doing all the tests and all my stuff was out of whack, she looked me right in the face. And when I said to her, "How long will I have to take this prescription for?" she said to me, "Oh, forever. You will always have this." Well, my heart hurts for people who believe diagnoses like that, because I didn't. I absolutely didn't. I heard an actual cracking sound, like thin glass or ice literally went crack. And the little faith I had left in the medical system completely left me, because I knew it was temporary. I knew it wouldn't be forever. So I threw that prescription in the trash and I went home. This is before I knew anything about healing. I went home and I healed myself back to full health and better energy within 8 months. Now, that wouldn't be possible if I just thought that my body was broken and could never be fixed. Yet this is what people are being told. How crazy is that? So here's one thing that I want to give you today. Realize that your symptoms are not the illness. You have pain on the right side of your head that won't go away. Well, yeah, then there's some sort of emotional root there. So that's a symptom of an emotional issue. Now, you might be like, well, how could it be emotional? It's physical. Well, yeah, but just like have you ever heard of when people have a panic attack and it's so bad they go to the hospital because they think it's a heart attack, and then the doctor's like, you just had a panic attack. And that was physical, right? It turned into this physical feeling. Well, I can tell you, when I healed my chronic lung disease, which I swear to God, it almost killed me. I had bronchitis and pneumonia. I was on death's door. My thing is, I refuse to go to the hospital. Obviously, I'm not going to tell people to do that. But for me, that was my path. So I was finally willing to go to the hospital because it was so bad. I was literally about to die. I couldn't breathe. I was pallid. Everyone was worried about me. It was terrible. They were trying to convince me to go. And I'm like, okay, fine. If this doesn't work, I'll go. And it synchronistically happened to be round 2 of the energy healing EFT tapping retreat that I was doing. So I got into it a year before, and it started healing my social anxiety and all sorts of crazy things. It was like massive personality change from this inner energy work. But then over the next year, you know, my sickness got worse and worse, which I'd had for years and years and years. And I'd had like bronchitis or something like that for like 4 months of every year. And in the last few years, it had been 6 months. And then the last year, it was like 8 months I had it. And that's when I was almost on death's door. And the final day happened to be on the very day that my teacher came back to San Francisco, where I was living at the time, to do round 2 of the 6-week. It was a teacher training, but it was more of a healing thing where then you also learn how to heal others. And it happened to be on that day. And get this, the only reason that I went there was because I'd met a friend who I'd been leading her through the method. I'd been helping her heal from satanic abuse that she had from growing up in a satanic cult. And she was tortured, and we did such profound healing. So I took her in, I hopped in the taxi, went down, and I was going to leave because I was so sick. But that's the time that you're meant to be doing the healing work. That is the time. And my teacher said to me, when I said to her, I'm not going to stay because I can't breathe. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to stay. I can't breathe. And she looked at me and she went, well, you walked up the steps, didn't you? And she's like, look, why don't you just stay? Long story short, I ended up having to be taken aside because my fucking tears and grief was so powerful, and it was just so powerful that it was overwhelming everyone in the group session, which was okay. It's just what she did. She'd take one of my classmates out. And this amazing classmate, Jenny Brav, she stayed with me 4 hours, and we did this healing session for 4 hours. And I can tell you that physical suffocation that was physical in my lungs after a good couple of hours of the method, which I can go into, but of the method, it started breaking up and turning into what felt like static. This physical, it felt like I maybe even had lumps in it. Was just awful. It was so physical. I couldn't breathe. I was suffocating just by being. And so, yeah, after 2 hours, it started breaking up and turning into what looked like that snowy static on a TV. And it started moving around my body. So with healing, your body knows what to do. It will yawn, it will burp, it will shake, it will release. But when we try to suppress it, that's when we make it worse. So you actually have to trust that your body has a wisdom, hence the title of this thing today. So, yeah, and it had to do with the grief that I had from the childhood abuse I suffered, from the loneliness, the misunderstanding, the fear, all the toxic people I was around. It was so bad, especially in my early childhood. It was like, an extreme situation. And so I'd gotten grief, which got trapped in my lungs. And so my lungs were really sensitive. And I couldn't smoke anything for years. Otherwise, it would send me into a coughing fit. Like if I ever tried to have a smoke a pot or something, or even a cigarette, it would send me into a coughing fit, and I would just then get sick for weeks or months after. Now, after this session, after 4 hours, what was physical, I was pallid, almost on death's door, it was gone. It's like impossible, but it happened. And so I remember I only had a little tiny sliver left in there, which overnight I did some more like energy and breath work on it, and it mostly released it again. And then over the next 6 weeks, I did some more sessions with my clients, with my teacher, and it's gone. That was back in 2011. 2011. What's that? 10 years ago now, and it hasn't been back since. And just to be honest, like I do smoke things sometimes. Sometimes I smoke some weed and whatnot. And no problems. Never had a single lung issue since. None. Nothing. It is so amazing. And that is what this work does. So no matter how physical your pain is, if it's persisting, it has got an emotional root. And so I have not met a person yet that I can't heal. If you're willing to show up to sessions and you're willing to keep going, like learning a new language, like if you're going to learn Italian, right, you don't expect to go to Italian for a month and be fluent. Or if you're trying to lose 50 pounds at the gym, it'd be pretty silly, which, we all do sometimes, want to lose the weight after a month. It doesn't work like that. And so with this work, we're teaching you a new language, literally how to talk to yourself, how to care for yourself. Hi, Renata. Yeah, it is. It's so interesting and amazing. Just what happens when you do the energy work. Now, energy work, it's not the type I'm talking about. It's not just like Reiki, which, I don't want to rag on Reiki. Like it can be very nice and healing, but the work that I do, it's intense. You know that you've had a transformation. We use breath work. We use somatic tracking, somatic experiencing. We really use your mind, body connection to talk to yourself and to find those wounded places. And rather than healing them, that doesn't work. Like trying to change them, that doesn't work. We love it as it is, and the love itself changes it. But it is very hard to do on your own because there's only so far we can go with our own blocks, because they're subconscious blocks, which means under the surface. So you literally can't see them. So one of my clients who came to me for money stuff, who came to me for money and business, she started working with me on a 3-month contract. And it was so funny. Well, yeah, it was funny. I found out that she had stomach spasms. And these stomach spasms had been going on for 4 years. 4 years. 4. And it was so bad, she had to sit up. She couldn't even sleep laying down. every morning when she woke up. Imagine this. And this is how I used to be with my lungs. Exactly this with my lungs before it healed. Same story. Every morning when she woke up, and back when I woke up like that, she would be in she would be in terror, because the second that she moved, she'd go into excruciating pain with those stomach spasms. And for me, the second that I moved back when I had the lung thing for years, I would lay there, wake up, and I would be in absolute terror at moving, because the very second that I moved, my body would be flung up and I would go into the most painful coughing fit for maybe even an hour. It was so bad. I can't even explain to you how genuinely terrifying it was to have that illness in my lungs. And so my client who had the stomach spasms, doctors had tried everything. She tried the antacids, all the sorts of things. And antacids were the opposite of what she needed anyway, physically. And as I was helping her with her business stuff, we kept tuning into the stomach spasms, because the pain tells you where you have the biggest emotional fear. Okay, but you have to know how to talk to the pain like I do. I will actually guide you to talk to the pain in your body so you know how to listen to the actual reason for it. And your pain, your body will actually tell you exactly what it needs to heal. And to me, this is the most exciting thing in the world. So I think it was after 2 months of like weekly sessions, or maybe twice a month sessions. I don't know. It wasn't actually that much work. We did these sessions together, and her stomach spasms started getting better for longer and longer, and she started feeling better for longer and longer. And then after about the 3rd month, they just went away completely. And it's because of a traumatic incident that happened where like 4 years before, just before they started, that she had deep guilt over, deep regret that she was mistreated during, and so good at coping we are, she just brushed it off and moved on with life. That's what you do. But then the emotional issues literally gets trapped in your body. Yeah. So when you have physical pain, disease, illness, these symptoms that keep coming up, think of it like condensed energy. Okay, so first of all, let's just a little bit of a lesson. Everybody knows by now that everything is energy. Okay, well, the kindergarten version of science that's coming out is that 99% of things are energy and 1% is matter, because when you zoom in, you can see the atomic structure, everything is space. Okay, well, that's not completely correct either. The truth is, everything is energy. It's just that the physical is condensed, dense energy. It vibrates slower, it's denser. Okay, so it's all energy. Now, when you have these emotions, you have traumatic experiences, which may not be a big thing. It might be like you simply felt misunderstood, and then you didn't know how to process your feelings like no humans do. Like everyone does the opposite of what we're meant to do. That's what I'm here to teach you, how to reverse what you're doing with your emotions, because you keep traumatizing yourself just by not allowing yourself to feel your emotions. Yeah, so you have ringing in your ear. Well, I'd be very curious to look at what was underneath that. So what happens is when we have these experiences, the energy, think of it like water or like jello, like jello. Okay, so when you put the jello in the fridge, it's water, isn't it? But then it cools down and it turns dense into something much more physical and solid. Yeah? Same with ice. You put it in the freezer and it's a liquid, and then it turns dense into solid ice. So it's more physical. Now, this is what happens with our emotions. They like invisible emotions, but they're in the body. And when we feel the guilt and the shame and the blame and, the sorrow and the frustration and all of that sort of stuff, we do not know how to let it move through our body. So we lock it in place, like putting it in a little jar. And then it's just like jello or ice. It solidifies, except because it's putrid energy, it's stagnant, putrid, toxic energy. That's what turns into disease. That's what turns into pain. So if you've had pain from an injury, for instance, and it hasn't gone away, then that means you have trauma. It means that there's a weak spot in your body. So you got that solidified energy, emotion, guilt, anger, all that sort of stuff you haven't known how to feel or process. So it's trapped in your body and it starts solidifying and it creates a weak spot. So then when you have an injury, it will, hurt the weak spot. And then it's like sort of breaks the area in a way. And then the trauma, the emotional energy, the stagnated energy, which isn't just energy, it's an opinion. It's a part of you that has an opinion that things aren't safe. It's a part of you that has an opinion that you can't trust yourself or others. This energy that gets stuck in our body, it has an opinion that what happened to you was so wrong, but you were never able to express it and you still regret it. And so it's literally causing you to be sick so that maybe you can get your needs met by not having to work so hard, or maybe it's simply trying to get your attention so you'll look at it and listen to what you need, and you might then set better boundaries. Number one thing I do with my pain clients, and actually all clients really, but especially clients who have pain or physical chronic disease, any sort of physical thing, boundaries. Teach them how to say no. And teach them how to say no without being dramatic about it. It's like, don't get so flustered saying no. Just say no. Just say, nope, doesn't feel right for me. And really realize that the pathway to healing is realizing that you're not wrong. Your desires, what you want, isn't wrong. When we were growing up in school, we were taught that we are wrong because we don't fit in with school. But school was an indoctrination camp to dim down, crush our creativity, and fit us into a box so we could be good little worker bees who don't even think. We just repeat information. And then those of us that didn't fit in, we were told that we would be losers for the rest of our life. And I can tell you, I'm so happy and grateful that I dropped out of school and I flunked out of year 10 because I did not want anything to do with school. It was a nightmare for me. And instead of being indoctrinated into that way of thinking, which is a lot of arrogance as well, to be honest, because, they think they know everything, but actually I got to go on a healing journey, which was the School of Hard Knocks, which was me on the outside looking like I was fucking things up massively. It was me having to learn from my experiences, ask questions, and through that, I got to heal. Through that, I healed my chronic disease. Through my willingness to experiment and learn is how I set myself free from the social anxiety and PTSD. Like, I am a walking example of miracles of what's possible. And so are my clients. So this is why I'm so passionate about doing one-to-one work. I've recently had a renaissance with my passion for it as well. I got into this whole thing because when I healed my chronic lung disease and my PTSD and my crippling social anxiety, I had to share it with others because everyone was told that they're broken. Everyone was told that they can't heal. I was told I wasn't good enough. I was yelled at every step of the way as a kid, and it made me hate work. But the thing is, true work is love made physical. When I help my clients heal from their physical, from their social anxiety, from any sort of anxiety, any sort of depression, guilt, despair, resentment, fucking anything holding them back, it's always about getting them to take actions that they actually love, getting them to do things in a way that actually work for them, and realize that every single one of us, we do have something to share. We have this creativity inside that's just begging to get out. Now, most of my clients are already in business. They already are even making money. Some are very new, but some are well on their way and, have a successful business. But whichever level you're at, it's always, always, always about dropping deeper into trust, deeper into love, deeper into your desire, into realizing that your desire is the guiding way that will actually heal you. If you don't want to freaking do something, you're meant to learn how to hear that and either don't do it in a whole different way, however you want, or delegate it. It's about really discovering how to trust yourself, and then also doing the energy work and the clearing work. Great, guys. Thank you so much for being here with me on my first, well, technically second Instagram Live. This is technically to me, in my mind, it's my first Instagram Live. And I'm also on YouTube too. I'm so happy and excited to be here. I will be back If you want help, whether it's with any block in your life, obviously, especially physical, social anxiety, mental health, anything to get your life on track so you can thrive in your business and heal your relationships, then I'm your girl. I can help you. We'll start with an initial single session, and trust me, you will know you had a healing. Like, this isn't one of those little things where you just sit and receive. No, you are doing the work. I am guiding you. You're copying me. I'm teaching you how to heal. My clients who stay with me the longest, they end up learning how to do the method. It's very about somatic experiencing, advanced psychology, like reverse psychology, advanced psychology. It's about breath work, sound, vibration. It is so powerful. It's like you end the session feeling like you just went on the best roller coaster and you feel alive and amazing and like everything is possible. And from this space, I help you figure out your next steps in your business, in your life. I teach you how to have conscious communication. So like nonviolent communication. I teach you exactly what you need to say if that's relevant for you. I help you have boundaries, which is essential for healing everything in your life. It's about saying no without realizing that you're not being unreasonable. Okay, I always say that your boundary begins where your desire ends. So your desire shows you the way. If you want to go to a restaurant, let's say that someone wants to take you to a restaurant and you don't really want to go, but you don't want to rock the boat, so you go anyway because you don't want to rock the boat. Well, that's not good for you. You have to learn how to use your words and say it in a way that's not dramatic. Just let it be easy, that you don't want to go to that restaurant. Okay, because that's your boundary. If it doesn't feel right, if it's not a desire, if you actually don't want it, that's a boundary, whether it seems unreasonable or no big deal or not. So I hope this has helped you today. Reach out to me if you are ready to transform your life, grow your business, and heal your body in the process, really. Okay, guys, I'm Kai Ashley. If you're not already, please follow. Please leave a comment below. And if this has resonated with you, please share it to your stories. Help get the word out so that more people know that true healing is possible. Okay, I'm out. Thank you so much for